Meet Polymars. He's this small underground game dev YouTuber and streamer, and recently he announced his game making competition with the twist that
and I'll be doing a live stream for as long as it takes to get world record on the top 3 games.
Which brings me on to the master plan, which is to make a game with a high score so high he'll never beat it and be trapped playing my game. But I'm not interested in just cheating a high score through a dev block. I will do it based off skill. So here's the plan. Step 1. Make a game around the competition's theme. Step 2. Make it good so he actually plays it because he'll only be going for high scores in the top 3 games and there are 1,000 people joining this jam. Step 3. Add a troll so he specifically is annoyed when playing to make the trapping worse. Step 4. Find a way to make a high score no one can beat. And step 5. Sit back and relax. Now, being honest, I backed myself ready to do step 4 and make a very hard high score because, you see, I usually suck at games, but when it comes to mine, I'm the best. I mean, no one else is playing them, so it's an automatic qualification. But still, I usually find some bug and abuse it to beat my games. And believe me, in this game, I found something groundbreaking. Now, all of this doesn't work if I don't make a game he plays, so for now, the focus is on the game. Which is then the 3-day competition starts with a very important announcement. The theme my game had to follow, which was overheat. I don't like this one because it just usually leads to tedious bars, but I usually try to see another meaning, and this time I saw overheat. Now, the most obvious for this was a floor is lava type game, but I wanted to mix this with being a firefighter and going over heat to save something. Ultimately, I decided you weren't going to be saving people, but rather objects, and you weren't working for the fire force, but instead your boss just wants to save enough money as possible. I guess he didn't have insurance. What I liked the most about the idea was that it was going to be a platformer, which meant the record was going to require some skill to jump around and get these objects. With this idea in mind, it was time to start with step 1, the construction of the game. I do have to shout out Lucky's tutorial series, as with it got me movement with a jump, then crouching, then a slide, then a nice touch of head bob, and then a jump animation. Then I discovered my first exploit of the project, where crouching while afloat seemed to maybe slow down the fall, and there's many more to come. Then I needed a way to grab items, so I should also thank Abra's grabbing tutorial, which got me grabbing objects. While this game is just made out of tutorials for now, it allowed me to get a good base. And when I said I usually find an abusable bug in my game, I meant it, because this is box floating. Although useless right now, it has potential to be game breaking. Now, with this grabbing system, one cool feature I discovered was this sort of puzzle feature. With this example, stacking boxes is needed to get up here. Then, with the tutorial, I added throwing objects. With this, I could start to think of the whole game, and specifically the map. So before modeling, I drew it out here. The grey part being platforms, the purple parts being bridges, and the brown as shelves to get objects. This being the start platform meant this part was going to be very far away, and so something valuable was going to be there, and this part needing parkour meant it was going to have valuables. With this foresight, you can see how there's a tactical element to where you go. So it was also another exploit, as I was going to know the optimal route and abuse it for a high score. With this map in mind, I took it into Godot. There is more elevation I didn't mention, but I thought it would allow for easier throwing of items downhill. It also made the top platform look sacred. With this, I modeled a new shelf for objects to be found. I also modeled a variant where it has 2 floors. Also, since you're supposed to be overheat, I added fire on the floor with this particle effect. Yeah, that's fire, not lava. Like, definitely not lava. To beat the lava accusations, I had to make this particle, which looked amazing and was amazingly bad for frame rate. So I spread it out with this effect. Then, since I didn't like the empty surroundings, I added a wall and then a ceiling, essentially finishing the map layout. The colors popping a lot better with the black, and I'm still struggling with the parkour. Now for the item system, which is made up of all the items you're going to be saving. Each item would have a different price, which adds on to another exploit, as I'm the one deciding the price, so I would eventually know where the good items are, and while playtesting I would balance, but eventually I'm going to know which items are good value. So I started this system. As you can see, it has this UI saying the price of the box. Now if you remember, I said box floating had potential, and it was realizing its potential now. That was a box jump. Initially, you need to just build to get up here, which takes a bit of time, but with this exploit, I can just save time and just skip it. Something I doubt polymars is going to find. Since I was not happy about the yellow fire, I changed it to red and also added this yellow section to deliver items to. It was then called the landing area and kept track of the money saved, or the score. Since the game had to be short as a rule, there is also now a meltdown timer, which is how long you have to save all these objects and basically means the game is just 1 minute long. Since it was a slightly confusing game at this point, I threw together a tutorial on the floor, then added more shelves everywhere. Since dying didn't exist yet, I added it, and now when the timer goes off, a meltdown occurs. With this, I felt like step 1 was complete because I could have just added different priced boxes everywhere, and that counts as the game. I mean, that's basically the base and counts as an essential trap because I have box jumping. So moving on to step 3 and find a way to troll him, I decided to add this trophy to the game, and it is sitting in the center with autofocus. The only problem being it is literally worth £1. And that was step 3 done, seeing as this was surely going to annoy him. Then it was time to go back to step 2, which was trying to make the game good now. I started with a beautiful blobby statue, then went into Blender and made a cheap mug, a monitor, a book, a chair, a laptop, and a beach ball, which was actually very hard to throw since it was round. But finally, I added the 2 most important statues, Choppy from Choppy Spear 3D, and then the most important item in the game, Longfish. If you know who this is, you're an OG. The price for Longfish was 100, which was nowhere near close to the 5, 10s, 20s seen otherwise. The reason for this is because it was located up above and took energy to get there. Originally, I had planned for it not to be worth to get up here, but I ended up being completely wrong. So to explain the gameplay, if you're a regular player, you might go to the middle island and throw some shots out to the landing area, and then maybe go right and get the trophy and then shoot out some chairs. But for me, it was a different story. I had found something crazy. Something unfair, you might say. This is box surfing. This was absolutely broken and just allowed me to zip to the top. Anyway, there was a bigger problem at play, which was that there was 4 hours left, so I had a fun last 4 hours adding the main menu, creating music, setting up the itch page, and adding high scores. But what hit the hardest was definitely the sound effects, as they breathed a new polish into the game. Anyway, with this I submitted and decided to name it Overheat, and I considered step 2 to be done. I also made this profile pic to hopefully create a sense of polish. I had done all the steps in my plan and it was time to relax. Following the release, I didn't actually go for a score and just wanted people to play it regularly, as polymars wouldn't be playing until 2 weeks after. However, it wasn't guaranteed. I still needed a good score, and specifically I needed an amazing result from the 15 ratings I got. But not something I thought was impossible. The only issue is, in jams, I seem to always flop, getting 50% a lot of the times. So much so I decided to graph every result I've gotten on this graph. And as you can see, it's good enough. And here is Overheat in comparison. That bar is nowhere near enough. It's nowhere even close to the top 20 he was going to play, let alone the top 3. This one was devastating. He's ghosted it. What are these YouTube emojis? This purple one is way too relatable. So yeah, he's not gonna be playing it. Maybe it's for the best. I mean, I had that high score on lock. I mean, there's no way he would have beaten it. But I know who might want to play it.
Whoa. Okay, and I can throw it? Okay, cool. What's this? Warning? 32? 31? Oh no. Alright, what if I just... Oh, it's getting faster. What happens? I'm trapped! I'm trapped! I'm trapped! Oh, I only got £2. Oh no, I only got £2. What is this box? £0, okay. Must be special. I reckon this is a special box. Can I use this to get up? Can I like jump on top of it? Oh, I can. Look at me. Oh no, that was even worse. 0. 0 is infinite times worse than 2. Also, £11 for a beach ball, that's so overpriced. Just want to say that. £11 for a beach ball, come on. I'm trapped in this box. I'm just trapped.
With that, I actually trapped the streamer, so it isn't clickbait. I can't believe he just found box floating just like that. But also go check Kobe out, makes good content. And also check out his podcast, I've been enjoying that. Firstly, I don't hate polymars. If it seemed like it, then no. I've been watching him since a child. Secondly, join the Discord. Thirdly, sub up if you feel sad. Hopefully, because I trapped someone else, this isn't clickbait. That being said, I'm really happy with the game in general, and this video script has been feeling crazy. Anyway, you can play the game in the link in the description. Thank you for watching. If you want to see how I coded it behind the scenes, or how I made a tactical dating sim, click here. Goodbye.
That's okay for a mug. That's okay for a book.